watching on YouTube. Do send in your comments, questions for the guys. We'll get to them throughout the show. Which I feel like I've got to come to you first after a 0-0 draw between Portugal and Colombia in Miami. It was a hugely entertaining game, and it means that Colombia win the group, Portugal finish second, and you have just yelled my ear off for the last 45 minutes. I am slowly going deaf. What did you make of the game we just watched?
Yeah, honestly, I'm so proud of the Colombian team. I thought they were absolutely superb in this game. We see the volume of shots that they had, but I just thought they competed. They decided to challenge Portugal in a game in which they didn't necessarily have to. A draw sees them win the group. They're now into probably the more favorable section of the draw, but I thought they were incredibly competitive. They were not overawed by the Portugal midfield, which is probably better on paper, which is better in terms of the club pedigree that all those guys have playing for Paris Saint-Germain. And yet Colombia, backed by an amazing crowd of yellow shirts, went after them. They challenged them very well. I thought they were much better. I thought they deserved the goal. And if it wasn't for the fact, is it Davinson Sanchez?
Yeah.
If Davinson Sanchez were a size 8 instead of a size 10, it would have been a 1-0 victory for Colombia. It was a devastating look of the technology on VAR. But honestly, I'm not only proud and I'm happy with what I saw, but I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged that this team can go on a run at this tournament because they look like a team that can compete with the best of the best.
And we've spoken, didn't we, leading into the tournament, that when Colombia play well, it's James Rodriguez plays well. It's just so many of these players who have talent at their disposal, but when Colombia need to play well, they need a tune out of them. And I thought he was brilliant tonight. It was a real team performance. All it was missing was that goal. And as Whitty said, Sanchez was, a toenail away from scoring.
Yeah, what a fantastic game. I mean, you can catch in my breath here, and I was cheering for Colombia just because of Chris Whittingham sitting next to me, so I couldn't believe so. Listen, it was one of the best games I've seen on match day 3 in the World Cup, full stop. And I'm not just talking about this edition, I'm talking about previous editions. This felt like it meant something to both nations. Portugal, real test for them as well, against a nation that really are outnumbering in supporters, but also they were outnumbering, as far as I'm concerned, with passion. Colombia brought a lot of passion, desire, commitment, willingness, push, but they lacked a bit of quality. This was their game to win. They should have won this game. A bit more efficiency in front of goal, a bit more composure in front of goal, maybe a bit more selfishness in front of goal from Colombia, certainly quality, and they would have won this game. I'm surprised they didn't. I don't like the toenail offside at all. I don't like it. I understand that it's offside, automated offside. You're either on or you're offside, so it's clear. But I do think that I want to watch these types of games produce goals, and being offside by a toenail, I don't agree with. I think the Arsene Wenger rule at some point will come in. But this was an absolute fabulous spectacle. Colombians should be very proud. Everyone inside that stadium should be incredibly proud. But I will say this, in these games, and you're going to get them in the World Cup, you need a match winner. You need someone to step up. In previous editions, it was James Rodriguez. Good game from him, but where's the finish, right? The finish wasn't necessarily there from James, and it wasn't from their offensive players either.
I think that you're quite right. They're real lacking a poacher in the box, a guy who's just going to put the ball in the back of the net, take that opportunity. Luis Suarez has been a bit disappointing. I know he scored a lot of goals for Sporting this season, but he just... And just the misplaced passes, I think, to your point, Ian, there was a lot of times where they got the ball into the final third in good positions and the ball was a yard behind the player who was running onto it, or is it just a little bit too fast for them to get there? I thought, Michael, that was something that maybe going into the knockout stage they're going to have to focus on. Just when you get the ball in the final third, take your time, calm down, make the pass.
Yeah, but look, before we get too critical on that, I think that's going to come. I think that is definitely the last puzzle piece for Colombia. I'm going to celebrate what we just saw because they proved that they are miles, not inches, miles better than Portugal right now. They're miles better than Portugal going into the knockout round.
No.
It was 0-0, yes.
Not miles better than, is it? No.
This wasn't a game.
It wasn't a game.
It was 0-0.
Portugal had chances too.
The scoreboard says 0-0, but I'm talking about if you actually watched the game, which we all did, this was a statement, and it could have been a bigger statement is what I'm saying, that Colombia bossed Portugal. It wasn't even close in terms of the things you said about the intensity and passion, but there was just a bite about Colombia that we haven't seen since Copa America back in 2024. And this is why I say that these are the small inches, these are small yards that build confidence. If you ask Woody or any Colombian fan coming to this World Cup, where was the World Cup going to be? How are they going to be? It definitely wasn't confidence. And if you just said that, I would have said, I want to know what you're smoking. It's a sheesh. Because they haven't looked like themselves. And so, yes, the kill in the box is one thing, but there were small gains in this. You look at the two center backs, John Lucami, Davinson Sanchez, who played like an absolute beast.
Yeah.
They pocketed Cristiano Ronaldo. Bruno Fernandes, he needs to hit the showers. He needs to get on the bus because he was a ghost. And you're seeing players take leadership roles, take ownership of the team. I mean, Gustavo Puerta, every single game, is a player that's becoming an unsung hero. He's 22 years old, and he's playing like a seasoned veteran. So, yes, I understand the criticism about the long game, but I'm here to celebrate what we just saw.
That was great.
That players are putting standout performances on the biggest stage, but at the end of the day, this is where I agree with you. You do have to get the result and win.
The headline was 0-0, but nobody wants their money back. Right?
Right, which is
one of
kind
the best
shocking.
0-0s we've seen
for sure.
for a long time.
Just in terms of the volume of chances, but also, honestly, the thing that was really shocking for me was the way that Colombia won the battle in midfield.
Yeah.
I thought going into this tournament that Portugal would lose the battle in midfield to nobody. And Colombia dominated them in the middle of the park, both physically, but also the way that they were able to pick out passes. For as much as their quality was poor in the final third, sometimes we don't talk often enough about how good their quality was in the middle third of the pitch. They opened up over and over again the gap between the center back and the fullback, people making runs beyond the fullback. I thought Nuno Mendes was kind of struggling down that left side a fair bit. A ton of joy for Arias and then Munoz when he came on down that right side. I thought that the way that they picked out passes from deep to open up spaces for others was brilliant. It was just that final ball that was lacking, but they controlled the game through midfield against Vitinha, against João Neves, who came on at halftime, against Bruno Fernandes. These are some of the top players that we see in Europe every single week. They're coming up against players that some of them are in Europe, some of them play in South America, and so people don't see them as often. It doesn't mean that they're not capable, that as a collective, playing well together, of executing on the day and being better than what we all thought coming into the tournament was the best midfield in the world.
Ian, given the way that Colombia played, how do you think Portugal are feeling in the aftermath of that game? A, about how they performed, but also looking ahead to the round of 32 and the knockouts.
Well, what did we learn more? That Colombia are here to really mean business? Or did we learn more that Portugal might not be the team that we expect them to be in this competition?
They didn't lose.
Exactly my point. But at the same time, you still have to win these games, right? It's Colombia. You're playing in Miami, where obviously you're outnumbered by supporters, and you feel it. The intensity, the energy, the passion on the field. You feel it. You've got to win these types of games when it comes to knockout stages. This was essentially a knockout stage game. Take a look at the lineup. One change, obviously. Ruben Neves in midfield, non-existent. Yeah. I also think that when João Neves came in, there was a little bit more better link between midfield and offense. I think Rafa Leão came on and offered a bit of pace on the left-hand side and got him behind a couple of times. But there was pure disappointment from Cristiano's performance. Thought he was very poor in front of goal. He didn't attempt one single take-on in this game. Just kept on playing the simple pass, and he was sort of buzzing around but not actually making much noise inside that penalty area. Vitinha, 52 out of 52 passes is a great statistic, but what did you actually do in midfield? So what have we learned about Portugal? I mean, I'm learning that they're not as deadly as I thought they were from this type of a performance. Would I be worried about playing them in knockout stages? Probably a little bit less so after watching this game against Colombia tonight.
We've had a few comments in from YouTube concerning the performance from Portugal. Let's get to them now. Hopefully we can see them on the screen.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
I'm being told they're coming.
I wonder if it's about Cristiano, all of the comments, because of his performance in particular. I mean, he stood out where he literally stood out.
Okay, here we go. Brent Samuel, I speak of all of us. I said, stop relying on Ronaldo. What did we make of Ronaldo's performance? If we were SofaScore and we're making the rating, what are we giving them out of 10?
Yeah, I think one of the most frustrating things when you watch Portugal, when they did get some decent looks at goal, you think of João Felix, where I can't remember if it was the first half or early on in the second half, players are passing up opportunities to be selfish. You talked about Colombians being a bit more selfish. I want to see Portuguese players be a bit more selfish. You have players who can put the ball in the back of the net. Last time I checked, João Felix can put the ball in the back of the net for both club and country, but he gets there. He's a defender 1v1. He has his head up, and he's looking at Cristiano Ronaldo the whole damn time.
You think they're just arrowing for him every time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you've been there in the locker room where you have a senior figure who's got his eye on the goal count, got his eye on maybe sending a message, maybe keeping one eye on what Lionel Messi's done in this tournament, trying to get the respect put back on his name. Let's not kid ourselves. He is the greatest goal scorer of all time. And at 41 years old, doing what he's doing in a Portugal shirt throughout his career has been sensational. But this is on the rest of his teammates as well to have a bit more pride in the quality of players that they have. You listed them as one of the best midfields, if not the best midfield in the World Cup.
On paper, yes.
We haven't seen that yet.
I agree.
I guess Uzbekistan, you can say, okay, it's Uzbekistan, you have to still show the quality. But in the two games, DR Congo and Colombia, I'm not seeing the best midfield at this World Cup. I'm wanting a bit more.
Witty, a few more of the comments that have come in there. One previous to this one said Portugal going out in the next round. Portugal looked so gassed here when they barely did any running. So bizarre.
Tough place to play, though.
I mean, yeah.
And then they would, just to mark your card, they'll face Croatia in Toronto in the round of 32. Can you see them losing that game?
Another partisan crowd to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, look, Croatia obviously have this ability to survive knockout matches. They're so tournament tested. They know exactly how to play these games. You can see them go into extra time and seeing out the 120 minutes and go into penalties and really making life difficult for Portugal. I think in terms of what you're talking about with the level of conditioning, I actually think Colombia, with their experience of playing home matches in Barranquilla, which is normally incredibly hot, it's humid, it's a difficult place to play. They know how to play games in hotter temperatures. And I think what you saw in moments was stick our foot off the gas and knock the ball around for 60 seconds. Let's have a bit of possession. Let's calm down. Let's play at a slower tempo, because if you dial it up for 90 minutes, you're going to get gassed. It's 100 degrees in terms of heat index. Incredibly humid and hot. The roof over the stadium kind of traps this hot air in, and you're just running basically in water air. Like you're running through water. So it's incredibly difficult.
It's hard to do that. When you actually go to the atmosphere and you feel the intensity inside that stadium, I totally agree with you. But they actually add a little bit more to you on the field. You're running through that extra mile and going intense, and you're not even thinking straight because of how passionate the crowd is and how warm it is. You also have this feeling that you've got to keep that up. You don't want to let it slip down in any way. I want to just see a little bit more of what Chris is asking for, that composure in that final third. I think that was probably all that was lacking from this Colombia performance. Just that final third. Everything up to the final third. The way they defended. Okay, Portugal are going to create chances against you. They're a top side. I thought they defended well. Thought they won that midfield battle. They also did well getting into the final third. But I'd be concerned about what they do once they get into the final third.
Can I ask a question?
We've got to go to break.
Why in those conditions is Cristiano Ronaldo playing the full 90 minutes? Why can he not be taken off? Because honestly, from the point of view of a Colombia fan watching that game, I wanted him to stay on the pitch. I wanted him to be there because I felt like come the end of the game, he was not going to add anything. The only thing to fear is Cristiano Ronaldo's reputation. You don't fear the player anymore. You don't. I honestly thought that it was great having him on the pitch from a Colombia fan standpoint. Keep him on for the whole 90 minutes as far as I'm concerned. And I think future opponents will think the same.
Yeah, I think when it's come to the big points for Roberto Martinez, he's chosen not to make them, has he? Time for a short break here on Galazzo Match Night 48 Nations. We've got plenty more coming up for you after this short break.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is,
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric.
Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started.
I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Golato Match Night. 48 nations. Other game in Group K tonight was DR Congo versus Uzbekistan in Atlanta, third place in the group on the line. And it was DR Congo, as you can see there, who came from behind at half-time to win 3-1. Yohan Wissa scoring 2 goals either side of a Fiston Mayele goal on 78 minutes to get the job done for them. So these are the final standings for you in Group K. Colombia win the group after that 0-0 draw against Portugal. They finish on 7 points from 3 games, 5 points for Portugal, who finished second, and then confirmation DR Congo finishing third on 4 points, and they will go through to the next round. Michael, let's
Easy
talk.
game in the next round.
Yeah, just a tricky one against England looming for them in the next round. We'll talk about that in a second. But Michael, we spoke yesterday about how much it meant for a team like Cape Verde from Africa, the pride of Africa, to get through to the knockout stages. And you can draw parallels between them and DR Congo. They're obviously not a smaller country as Cape Verde, but they haven't been to the knockout stage of a World Cup. This is a real box ticked for them.
Yeah, it's massive. It's actually the first ever win in their World Cup history. And I think this has been 52 years in the making, because the last time they were at the World Cup, they actually weren't even DR Congo. They were called Zaire, where the two Congos were one. And a lot of political stuff has happened, and hence you have the two different countries. I've actually played in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and there's just been building of infrastructure over the last 15 years. You think of players that you've probably covered in the Premier League, and Yannick Bolasie, he chose to represent DR Congo. And you look through this roster and you look through this squad and you just see so many dual nationals, players who identify as Congolese by their parents' lineage. And it was so just gratifying to see all the hard work that's paid off over the last couple of seasons under their head coach, Sébastien Desabre. And now I want to give him a lot of credit, because when people think of some of the top coaches on the African continent and some of the top teams, DR Congo isn't the first name that comes out of your mouth. You think Morocco, you think Cote d'Ivoire, you think even Ghana, right, with their coach that they have right now in Carlos Queiroz. But DR Congo are building something special. They're very defensive side. And Sébastien Desabre, when he took the job, Ian, he said that his one mission was to get the Democratic Republic of Congo to the World Cup. Mission accomplished. Oh. He's just done one better to get them to the knockout round. So, in my opinion, if you are from Lubumbashi, if you are from Kinshasa, celebrate tonight, because you have a head coach who is just making history right before our eyes. He did it at the Africa Cup of Nations in 2023, where he led them to the semifinal round, and he's just done one better going to the knockout round. So many quality substitutions made today, and they fully deserve this.
I mean, this is just so special for African football, full stop, how the success continues to happen at this FIFA World Cup with African nations having success. Obviously, I do believe that it begins with leadership, and it's not just the people who are on the sidelines. It becomes from actually what we see behind the scenes at these federations. Federations have done a lot better in African football over the last decade of improving standards, making sure that everything is getting better at a youth level to be able to produce talented players to come through to have success at this level, but also what they do in scouting players that do have dual nationals. It's very important to make sure that when they come into the culture that they fit in with chemistry. This group is so fun to watch. Now, I know the first 2 match days they had less than 30% possession of the ball. Sometimes that's okay if you get a result like they have done, but getting a victory and that taste of victory is so special. Yohan Wissa obviously impressed all of us. We know his name. He's a household name now for what he's done in the English Premier League. Maybe not so much for your season, Adam, at Newcastle, but he will get better there as well. But there has been 2 or 3 players that really stood out for me. Bakambu's not one of them. He was one of the problems, I thought, in the first 45 minutes and got taken off. And again, it goes back to leadership. A brave person to take Bakambu off the field with his experience to be able to make those types of changes. You have to do so. But for African football and what we have just witnessed, that second half performance was truly spectacular. It was a joy to watch. They make Uzbekistan look like a minnow in this tournament. And we're not talking about any just Uzbeki team, right? We're talking about a team that's run by Cannavaro, a World Cup winner, that has a centre-back that plays for Manchester City. They made him look foolish in this game as well. It was a great performance and something to be proud of.
And looking ahead to the England game, I know England are heavy favourites for it, but you can look to England's group games against Ghana, who also play a low block, a defensive style of play from Africa. I think DR Congo will maybe look at this game and say, look, if we can do what Ghana did, we can stifle England.
Yeah, Ghana has given a blueprint how to frustrate England. We saw it today against Panama, and I think we're going to see it done at an even better level. DR Congo, they are just as good, if not better defensively than Ghana. We saw Ghana get taken apart by Croatia, but they have more quality. You talk about the subs and you talk about Yohan Wissa. So a bit of context before we go to break. Yohan Wissa missed the Africa Cup of Nations because he wanted to get his place in the Newcastle team. He actually was injured during the Africa Cup of Nations and coming back. It is so significant for him to get his confidence back because his quality in the final third is a big reason why DR Congo made the push to get in the CAF World Cup playoff, and he wasn't even available for that in their win over Nigeria. So for him to get 75% of DR Congo's goals of the World Cup, it's a true testament to him, his character, his personality. And I think playing against England, he is going to be fired up to prove a point, not just to the English media, but Eddie Howe in Newcastle.
The kid Sepenga stood out to me. Sorry, Adam, I know you've got to go to break. I don't really care. Mayele stepped up massively, by the way. What a fabulous finish from him. Once you get him behind, and I know Vissa's getting all the credit because he's got this big name, Mayele obviously having an impact from the bench. The finish was exquisite, and also it eases the nerves a little bit because now you sense we've got a chance of winning this football game. But the kid Sepenga, hopefully I've pronounced his name correctly.
Absolutely,
What a game. Michael, what a performance. No one's talking about some of the players that these African nations are having at their disposal. We have just been entertained by African football, and it's about time we start to celebrate it just a little bit more. A lot of these names will end up, obviously, on the paper of scouts around world football, and when you perform at this level and you create some sort of history, it's only going to get better and better. Watch out, England. Just saying.
Nobody cares that I've got to go to break, but I might as well get there now.
One more thing, Adam.
Confirmation. One question. DR Congo lead the way in terms of the best third-place teams. 4 points and a +1 goal difference sees them cruise through to the round of 32. Confirmation there of Iran making it as that last
team.
Happy
for Iran.
There. And these are the African sides who will play in the round of 32 fixtures. South Africa against co-hosts Canada. Netherlands taking on Morocco. Ivory Coast, Norway. England against DR Congo, as we said. Australia versus Egypt. Argentina, Cape Verde. And Colombia taking on Ghana. Time for a short break here on Galazzo Match Night. 48 nations. We got there eventually. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless. timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount+.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric.
Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started.
I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here? Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Galato Match Night 48 Nations. Attentions turn now to Group J. A couple of games for us to look forward to. No Lionel Messi for Argentina against Jordan in Dallas. And it is going to be a test, I think, of some of the other players, the squad players for Argentina. Ian, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of Argentina been tested so far at this World Cup, would you say?
I mean, every single game that you play at the FIFA World Cup is an absolute test in some way or another. I mean, Argentina always have to find a way to win games. And I think there's so much pressure on Argentina to impress their supporters, to showcase exactly how good they are, for Lionel Messi to score goals, for the rest of the team to support him and obviously raise him to another level, but for also the rest of the team to really step up and showcase how good they are as well. I think Scaloni feels an immense amount of pressure. I mean, Nico Cantor and his RV's been touring around the country, obviously speaking to Argentinian fans, and the expectation from every single one of them is they got to win this. Otherwise, it's a disappointment. So it doesn't matter who you're playing against. Every single game, Adam, I think Argentina feel like they've got pressure to win it.
Let's have a quick look at the lineups. We're going to start with Argentina. Some changes made by Scaloni, Michael. What has he gone for here?
Yeah, I mean, Martinez is the mainstay. The World Cup winner made the biggest save probably we've seen in World Cup history in modern era with Randall Colomwani, which teed it up for Argentina to go on and win in penalty kicks. I'm interested to see how this looks, if this is going to look like a back three or the back four we see on this graphic, because Giuliano Simeone, who plays at Atleti, he can function as a wing back, but because this could be a back three, probably going to be a back four, he will have the license to go forward. Tagliafico, who plays for Lyon, he can probably be more secure, staying next to Marco Senesi, who Tottenham Hotspur fans are going to be excited to see him playing at the World Cup. Just secured the big move to Spurs, and let's see how he does in this role with the World Cup veteran in Nicolas Otamendi. Loved him at Benfica this past season. It's going to be interesting to see if his legs and his leadership are still up to snuff. Fully expect that. The big one for me in the middle of the park is Leandro Paredes, because last World Cup in the game against Saudi Arabia, people forget that Paredes actually started the opening match, and then Scaloni said, come off, put in the youngster Enzo Fernandez. The rest is history. Argentina slingshot in to history in that. Palacios is going to be a good midfield partnership. Giovanni Lo Celso, he missed the last World Cup in 2022 with a hamstring injury, so a bit of redemption from him. And the main thing I'm looking at is, can Nico Paz be the attacking midfielder that every Argentinian fan hopes he can be in this World Cup? Just expose, because Lautaro Martinez and Julian Alvarez, they're going to be trying to feed off of his service.
Who needs a big performance in this game for Argentina, Ian?
Listen, we can always go to Nico Paz. My eyes and attention are on Nico Paz and what he is expected to do in this jersey. It's a heavy jersey. Let's not forget, right? You have to perform when you play, especially in that position.
It's the jersey his dad wore. He performed at a World Cup back in 1998.
So the pressure is even more so on him. I actually think Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez need to score goals here. Yeah. I mean, this is where Argentina are going to figure out if they're going to win the World Cup or not. Because you cannot rely on Lionel Messi. If you go back through the last 10 goals that Argentina have scored, he scored, what, 8 of them? So you cannot rely on Messi once again to win the World Cup for you. The whole team has to perform. They have to be better. and they also have to start scoring goals outside of Lionel Messi. So I do think that there's a lot of pressure on Lautaro Martinez and Julian Alvarez, playing together, by the way, which is wonderful to see, getting chances, creating some sort of chemistry, and taking their chances in front of goal. Having Nico Paz there, being the creator in that number 10 slot, he's going to definitely push in a little bit further behind Lautaro and Julian. I think that's perfect for this team because this guy is a magician in possession of the ball. He sees defenses like we don't see the defenses. He sees things, these little gaps, these little spaces that other players don't see. What he's done on Serie A across our networks, make sure you're watching, he's been exceptional. But this is where we see how good he really is. Okay, it's one thing to turn it on in Serie A for Como. It's another thing to go and win a World Cup or try to win a World Cup with this Argentinian side that has so much immense pressure on them.
Ian, you're our Jordan correspondent. What have they lined up with tonight?
Well, I think we can safely say that Abdoulaye is going to be incredibly busy in the goal. 33-year-old actually has had a bit of a shocker recently. He's conceded 5 goals already in the tournament, but he's actually conceded 11 goals over his last 4 international games. I would expect him to be an incredibly busy man tonight. As you can see, obviously, yellow cards coming into play as well. They've got some danger here. Number 9, Olvan, 26-year-old, has impressed me, especially in this competition. Got a goal already in the competition, but I think there's more to come from him. Not only will he drop behind number 24, Azizea, I do think that he can actually play in that number 9 position as well. So watch the 3 of them up top actually rotate as well. Olvan is the one who I think is the most dangerous player that they've got in their ranks. He creates opportunities, created the most chances in this team in the tournament so far, actually got himself a goal. I think there's more to come from this team, but against Argentina, what are you expecting? A big-time performance where they can win this game? Can they upset by even scoring a goal? What would they celebrate? I think if they were to get a clean sheet, it would be remarkable, but if they score a goal against the world champions Argentina, then you're time for celebrating.
Yeah, I think everyone's expecting a heavy win for Argentina, but we'll have to wait and see. Time for a short break here on Galazzo Match Night 48 Nations. We've got plenty more coming up for you in a couple of minutes.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric.
Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started.
I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome along to Galazzo Match Night 48 Nations. Adam Hunter here in the studio with Chris Whittingham, Michael Lahoud and Ian Joy. The back four is back. A big hello to everyone watching on YouTube.